Well, hi, welcome to part 2 of this 5-part series with the Specialist Medical Group and the Gib Med Hospital. We're here on the sofa with Rouge, not quite on the sofa, as I always say, but we're in the Gib Med Hospital today, here in the reception area. We've come quite early so that there are no patients here, and it's a pleasure to have Business Development Manager Patrick Shaw with me today. Hi, Patrick.
Hi,
Thank you very much for being here so early in the morning. Here we are with our coffee and our water, trying to wake up, but no, I'm wide awake. What about you?
Me too, I'm ready.
So you're a business development manager for the Gib Med Hospital. What does that entail? What do you do?
Well, maybe we should start from the beginning, really.
Yeah.
And probably why the role developed and came about. And, the previous history, as you probably know, is that the SMG, Specialist Medical Clinic, Specialist Medical Group, existed since 2008. And up until then, it was a small clinic on the first floor of the ICC. And then, of course, the project of building a hospital on the second floor, a 3,000 square metre hospital, required the services or the role of business development. And that's how it came about.
And what led you to be in a medical role in the first place, or were you not doing that before? Like right at the beginning, how did you start?
Right at the beginning, I came to Spain to work in tourism. Okay. And I worked in tourism for many years. And strangely, tourism and healthcare were linked, mainly due to the seasons on the Costa del Sol of elderly people coming out in the winter. They need medical facilities. So I got to know a lot of the private hospitals. And that's where I started many years ago, 20 years ago, working in healthcare.
Okay.
And working originally...
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Working originally at Zanet in Benalmádena.
Ah, that's where you started.
Yeah, just before it opened. I worked there. We started before it even opened. So,
oh my gosh, you've seen that grow too.
Yeah, absolutely. From zero, from a building site into the hospital that it is today.
So you had experience with that.
Yeah.
So then you've brought that with you here. How did you end up in Gib?
Well, I'd known David for many years, and again through the Spanish connections, he was working in Spanish hospitals doing his surgery, and he approached me several years ago and said that he was doing this project and would I be interested to come along and join him.
Did you think he was a bit crazy to ask you to?
Not really. It's very brave.
Very brave.
Yeah. Very...
Well, the first part of this podcast series was with him.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people stopped me and said, "Wow, David, it's incredible what he achieved." And I thought the human side of him really came out in our chat because it's quite a feat what he took on.
Yeah, it is. But when you know business inside out and you believe in it, I think it's easier to start something. And he's had so much encouragement along the way. I've been in Gibraltar for 2 years now, and I just everywhere you go and people you speak to and what you hear, whether it's to me or to him or when we're together, it's all encouragement, and pretty much everyone to a man says the same thing.
So do you feel part of the community now that you're right in the thick of it?
A little bit, yeah. It's the Gibraltarians have welcomed me with open arms. They're
That's
very
great.
nice.
That's great.
It is, and it's...
Well, yeah, you're providing an incredible service. I mean, you're right in the heart of town. We're going to talk about this a little bit later on what you can actually provide to the community. But I just wanted to ask you, what skills do you think you have to do your job properly, Patrick?
Yeah, well, clearly it's actually very easy to promote a wonderful product. My role in this business, what does business development actually mean, I suppose, is that my role is to be out and about in the community, be the face of the company, be the face between a hospital and the public. Sometimes people can find it a bit daunting, thinking, well, who do I go to, how do I see, how to make an appointment, who's the specialist they need to see. And I offer that kind of middleman kind of thing, that buffer between what the public and the people might think they need, and actually coming into the hospital ringing it themselves. So a lot of time people will send me a WhatsApp, Patrick, I think I need this or I need that, or can you help me get this appointment, or whatever. So that's kind of how it works, really.
And how do you identify what kind of services you need to provide to the community? Because we've got a perfectly good GHA that works very well and all the rest of it. So how are you different, and what can you provide that is different?
In many ways, it's not necessarily that it's different. It's an extra layer of support, really, for the GHA. We know that the GHA provides for pretty much everybody in Gibraltar, certainly all the Gibraltarians and the residents. But of course, like any state healthcare service, it may be stretched at times. It may not be able to cater for everybody, particularly at the same time. And I think private healthcare offers that layer of support for people to say, well, there's always an option to see a specialist, maybe have more time with them, because there's less people to see, and that's the kind of, we offer things that the GHA currently aren't providing, which again is a supportive system. We work very closely with them, as you know. Yeah. Particularly with radiology.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to.
And in other areas as well, and we talk to them regularly, and we have a very good, very good, healthy relationship with them. So kind of, in many ways, it's not necessarily that it's different. It's just extra support.
Yeah, just going along with them. Not going, working side by side, really?
In many ways, yes, with the GHA. And then to the members of the public, obviously there's a lot of people, as you know, that come in and out of Gibraltar every day. They have medical insurance.
Right. Yes, I wanted to ask you about that. That was one of the questions. So with medical insurance, there's a lot more things that you can have done for, free. What are the kind of things that you offer at the hospital for people with medical insurance that maybe somebody doesn't know about?
Yeah, well, a lot of people with medical insurance, one of the benefits of medical insurance is they get to have preventative medicine. So they can have things like a well man or a well woman.
Right, yeah, very important.
Yeah, we also have the mole mapping service here, which is very popular. So preventative medicine, particularly as a lot of people with medical insurance who are working for maybe the international banks or in the gaming, a lot of them are young people, so they might think, well, I've got my insurance, but I feel young and healthy. I don't necessarily need to go and see a doctor very often. But it could be that with preventative medicine, they can go along and have a health check. And yeah, like everywhere in Gibraltar, they've got the benefit of seeing someone in English and all that kind of thing. They could live in Spain, but because they work in Gibraltar, they've got insurance in Gibraltar, they don't have to go and see a doctor in Spain. They can see the doctor here. So very convenient.
Do you think the scanners and the radiology department that you've brought to the community is a game changer?
Yeah, I think so. Without a doubt.
Have you found that it has been since you've started?
Absolutely,
really?
Absolutely. Well, I think on two fronts, really. I think the first one is that it's added a huge support to the GHA and to the population of Gibraltar.
Are they sending you patients?
Yes, they are. They are. Yeah, absolutely. And people want to come.
Of course.
People are asking to come.
Why would you get in a queue for So many people go privately to Spain. Now they don't have to. This is the beauty of this.
Yeah, it is. The scanners and the systems in Spain are perfectly normal and perfectly good. But it's the convenience, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got this 3 Tesla MRI, which is, top of the range. And we're fortunate enough to have it in Gibraltar, where, as you say, people don't need to leave. Yeah. Don't need to queue to get out. The risk of the time getting out, the time getting back in, and the translation and all that kind of thing. And it's just a whole lot more convenient, isn't it? And I think that's what people feel the benefit for. And then certainly for other nationalities coming over here, they may not speak, obviously a lot of Gibraltarians speak Spanish, but it's maybe not the case for Brits or other nationalities that live in Spain and come over to work. Then they've got the convenience of having everything here in their own language.
Yeah, and you're right in the middle of town. Was that a consideration? I know the specialist medical clinic started here at the ICC, and you had your little, and now it's grown and grown and grown. Yeah. Was it always on the cards, when you decided to do the GibMed, to stay here?
Absolutely.
Like right in town?
Absolutely, because of the location of the clinic, the availability of this whole floor to be turned into a hospital, and the convenience, parking upstairs. I mean, if you think it was a rainy day and you need to come and see a doctor, you could leave if you leave your garage and your car drive in, drive out.
You don't have to go outside.
She's not getting wet.
No. And
very convenient.
I live literally, I can look from that window, I can see my house over me.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Tell me, Patrick, what motivates you as a person? So I want to know a little bit about you as a person.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, first of all, it's handy that I'm very interested in business.
Yeah. You always have been?
Yeah, always have been, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my family's always had little businesses and small businesses and whatnot. And
where are you from?
I'm from Liverpool.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Bit of a Scouser accent there
Just
somewhere, no?
Just a little one, not too bad. Comes out more when I'm with family. Business development has always been very interesting because, as I said before, I worked in tourism, which was all about being with people, mixing with people, meeting with people, and you know, it's a more fascinating subject than people might actually think. Healthcare.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is. It is because you're helping people. You know, my role is to help people.
Yeah.
You know, nothing more, nothing less. Is to help people, whether that's individuals, whether that's companies, whether that's the GHA, government officers, no matter who it is. It's to help people because this is what I'm dedicated to do. Whereas other people aren't. Other people are working in their industry. They need healthcare, but because it's not their industry, they don't know who to go or where to turn to. But that's what I do. So it's.
Have you had to find out more about the medical market, the medical side of the business development? Because one thing is knowing about business. This is quite a specialised.
It is, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll never be a medical professional, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not medically trained. However, I know a lot about. I know enough to not put myself at risk in terms of giving advice or telling people who they should see. So knowing a little bit about each kind of specialty to be able to talk on a kind of basic level to people, but not necessarily required really. It's all about being able to interact, dealing with doctors, dealing with medical directors, like the administration side of it, liaising, mixing with people. That's pretty much it really.
Is it a challenge?
Sometimes I wouldn't say necessarily. It's a challenge to maintain the quality that and the service that we want to provide. Yeah, it is, because that's always a challenge, isn't it? Because you know, just when you think you're doing something really well, something might crop up where you haven't done too well, and that's disappointing particularly when you've got a brand new brand, and that brand is all based on quality of service, of treatment. You know, we're only as good as the people that come through the door and use our services. You know.
What has been your biggest challenge so far with the hospital?
I'd say, well, business development wise, I'd say it's getting the word out really.
Okay.
That's a challenge because
getting people to trust you and to not so much trust.
Not so much that, because I think people trust the specialist medical clinic and the special medical group as a product, but it's getting them to know that GibMed is part of SMC. We're on different floors. The brands are different, which we will probably be addressing in the near future. But the challenge is getting the word out there. You know, for a small population, it's incredibly difficult to get the word out there. You wouldn't think that, would you, really? No. You'd think that, 36,000...
And also you're quite prolific in social media. I mean, every time I switch something on, there's like a pop-up or there is something there. It says GibMed this or adverts in the Chronicle but it's getting people to come and use your services.
Yeah, it's wanting that it's wanting to be supportive of the community.
Is that what you're hoping to achieve more than anything with setting all this up? That people come, that people try your services, and.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously we're a private medical facility. We're self-funded.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do rely on.
As a business, you want it to work.
Of course.
Obviously.
And as a business, we've got all the normal fundamentals of any business. We've got to offer a fantastic product, offer excellent customer service, be available, front things up, and be here for everybody whenever they need us.
One thing people want to know is obviously private medical insurance, private medical care is expensive. Now, how do you compare, say, with other clinics up the coast, for example?
I think we're comparable. Well, I know we're comparable.
Okay. Is that part of your research when you set all this up?
In some ways, in many ways, we're cheaper.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to travel. You're not spending so much petrol on getting all the way to Marbella, no?
Yeah, but even cheaper at the point of paying.
Right.
Let alone, I mean, paying at the reception desk here is often cheaper than paying in Marbella. Let alone the petrol and the inconvenience and the driving and all that. So no, I mean, we're not expensive. We're no more expensive than any other clinic here in Gibraltar. And as I say, comparable to those in Spain.
So when we talk about new developments, what is one of the best treatments that you can offer? And for example, I know that the hospital is opening, the actual hospital pod. That's very, very exciting. Tell us a little bit about that.
So where we're sat at the moment, obviously, is the main reception. Probably what your viewers can't see at the moment is just behind the camera there, behind those doors, is the other half of the hospital. It's opening, and that's pretty unique. You know, we thought, and it's correct that radiology is pretty unique here, but then we're going to be having the operating theatres, and 6 bedrooms. Then we're having a dental suite, day hospital, and so that's all behind those doors there, opening very, very shortly, the end of this month.
Oh, so, end of this month already? Wow, that's quick. Yeah. And 6 beds for patients, obviously, to stay. What is it, short stay?
Yeah, short stay.
Right.
Short stay. So surgery, there's no risk. We don't have intensive care. We don't have accident and emergency. So it'll be minimal risk.
Okay.
Surgery.
So like, I don't know, plastic surgery procedures, things like that?
Yeah, cosmetic surgery, plastic surgery, orthopedic stuff.
Right.
So knees, ankles.
So all those things could be done, like a knee replacement, things like that could be done here?
That's the type of surgery that we'll be able to carry out. Yeah, absolutely. And then maybe further down the line, moving to hips, and then judging it as we go along, really, because it's, as I say, we want to do, as David would often call it, lumps and bumps.
Yes.
Just do the minor surgeries and then take it from there, really, and see where we go and see how we develop.
Have you put your feelers out into the community whether people would want to come and use these facilities and stay here if they can and have these procedures here?
Absolutely, because I mean, the only option to date, if people are using their insurance or self-pay, is to go to Marbella. Yeah. The nearest.
Yeah.
Often they'll maybe go to Benalmádena, to Zanet. But up until now, that's been their only options. And I suppose to be able to stay on home turf, as it were, and have it done here is very, very convenient, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely right. Yeah. How do you keep the business growing, Patrick? And because you've got to a place now where you're, it's there, it's nearly ready. You're about to market all the stuff to do with the hospital and the staying over and stuff. What's next? How do you go beyond that? Because your slogan is go beyond, not beyond better, beyond better. How do you go beyond better?
By listening to what people want and require, by knowing what the requirements are. So, for example, we have rheumatology service now, which previously we didn't have, and it's not really existed too greatly in Gibraltar up until now. Certainly, it's been believe it's been a kind of a remote service. So we've managed to get a rheumatologist in who's very, very busy. Now, so that's been a good service. We're hoping that's helping those people who need to see a rheumatologist.
Are people coming to see him?
Yeah, absolutely.
And is this something that also the GHA refers patients or not?
No, not at the moment.
The GHA just refers patients for the MRI scans?
Yes.
Right, okay.
That's how it is at the moment. And there's some more radiological tests and support being given as well.
Okay. And what does a rheumatoid or rheumatology doctor do?
Well, a lot of it's about the joints.
Right. Okay.
It's
and a lot of people suffer with that here, especially with the damp. No, you always say
with the damp and exactly. And a lot of people with back pain and they have often he has to provide injections for people and it's very involved. It's a fantastic service. And then you asked me about development.
Yes. How do you?
It's bringing in as many new specialties as we possibly can. We're hoping to bring in more services to do with neurology shortly. A lot more physio stuff.
Neurology?
Yeah.
That's back and spine and things like that.
Yeah, all the neurology services. So it's trying to offer more and more services to make them more available, to have more availability. So that means that instead of a doctor maybe coming once every 3 weeks, try and get them once every 2 weeks, once a week. Always searching for as many of the best professionals as we can get. That's got a huge challenge.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you, you're responsible for doing that?
Well, myself and my colleagues, we'll chip in. But yeah, one of my responsibilities is to bring in new professionals, and
that must be quite difficult. Hmm?
It is difficult because the rules and regulations of Gibraltar are a lot different to Spain.
Oh, okay.
and the UK in many ways.
Interesting.
Yeah, so if a doctor works in Spain, for them to be able to come over to work in Gibraltar, a lot of paperwork, insurance. Insurance is a big thing here in Gibraltar, indemnity insurance.
Okay.
And to a lot of professionals, they've got to balance whether it's worth them coming over for work versus the insurance the self-insurance for their indemnity that they have to pay. So there's some of the challenges. They want to do it because they find Gibraltar a fascinating market, but they also have to balance that with their work-life balance and whether they're going to invest in more insurance. But the specialties are out there. But it's just getting them over here. And a lot, as we know with the GHA, there's a lot of specialists. For such a small place, it attracts a lot of professionals to Gibraltar. And a lot of them want to work in the private sector as well. So
yeah, and there's more and more. I mean, in my field of work as well, I go into places sometimes to visit companies and I don't see any Gibraltarians. They're all foreign. So there's a lot of mix of people working and living here who would benefit from all these, well, everybody would benefit from all these services. So tell me one thing. We were talking about well-person checks. You touched upon it before. It's one of the things that the insurance can if you have medical insurance, that can pay for it. How important is that, like a well-person check?
Well, I think it is, in the sense that it gives people peace of mind. Even if they don't feel any aches and pains, it gives them peace of mind to have their bloods checked, to be able to give samples, to be seen by a GP as well. And
you do all the lab testing, everything here?
Well, yeah, within the building, within the ICC.
The building,
yeah, we work obviously with GibLab.
So the results are quick. Yeah, quicker than maybe they would get somewhere else.
Well, no, maybe no quicker than anybody else. We wouldn't claim that, but certainly the lab was within the same building, so we send the results off, and as soon as we get them back, the patient sees the GP again, and they go through the results and get the recommendations on any lifestyle changes they may need to make.
Well, it's really fascinating, Patrick. Are you enjoying this job?
It's fabulous. I am actually. I'm really enjoying it.
Does it make you want to, when you get up in the morning, do you feel, I'm going to do this again today?
Yeah, do you know, I suppose it's all about the person, isn't it? I don't feel it's a job in many ways. It's a way of life. I think if the philosophy for you can be, if you're lucky enough in life to be able to say that your job is a way of life, I think you get a lot more out of the work, and I think you get more out of life as well, because it's not a chore.
Absolutely.
It's my job is to be out and about with the people, whether it's people in here, professionals in here, whether it's on the street, whether it's in businesses, whether it's at GHA, to talk people, to support. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm here to support people, to say this is what we've got. If you want to make use of the services, let me know and I can support you and help you.
So do you think you've reached your goals as a person on a personal level and a business level?
Well, I don't know yet.
You're still working on them.
Yeah. I think I'm too young to be out to pasture.
No, but it's certainly rewarding, no?
It's very rewarding. I think from a professional and personal point of view, I think when we see every new department doing really well, I think that will feel hugely satisfying. I think it'll be justified reward for all the hard work that everybody's put in. It's been a huge team effort. The company's growing, the staff numbers are growing all the time.
I know. How many people have you got working here?
On staff, we've got over 50.
Yeah.
Then we've got obviously
all the ones that come in and come and go. Yeah.
That pop in and see patients. So yeah, it's growing, and we want it to be a place where, an important place in the community. Yeah. An important business in the community where our staff feel proud to work here. They feel rewarded. They enjoy working here. That's the environment that we've
trying to create.
I think we've created it. We're continuing to focus on that. Yeah. A good place to work means better service to the public and to the people of Gibraltar, whether the Gibraltarians, residents, or all the workers that come and go. We want to be here for everybody, and we want to be the face of face of healthcare in private healthcare in Gibraltar.
Okay, and tell me something. How do you chill out? Because you're quite an energetic, quite a good talker, and I can see that's part of your role, really, to get things moving. So how do you relax after a day here?
Well, I should do more to relax. I should do more exercise. I should go to the gym a bit more than I do.
Do you find it hard to switch off?
I do, but it's not a chore for me, actually. I do find it very difficult to switch off. But then at the same time, that doesn't mean I'm stressed or thinking about work all the time. So it's a happy balance, really. I like to be involved in work all the time, actually.
Really? So you go home and you're there with your mobile? Oh,
well,
no.
I'm not that required. I'm not that required. Things aren't too busy that I'm busy in the evenings with work. But socially, I'll often we'll mix after work and if visiting specialists in the UK, maybe have a bite to eat with them in the evening. So that's kind of, I don't know if that's really switching off. I don't know if that answers your question. I don't think it does really, does it?
No, it's networking. I mean, it's nice socially, and it's nice to be able to get more business if you can do it with a couple of glasses of wine. Yeah,
it's interesting actually that I come to Gibraltar. I live in Spain, so I come to Gibraltar on a Monday, and I stay here till a Thursday evening, and then on Friday I work in Spain. So my Monday to Thursday is pretty condensed. So my family are in Spain, so when I'm here, it's all work really. But that's fine, because that suits me, because it's most people have got their homes to go to and their kids. I haven't while I'm here, so for me it's convenient to be able to work during the day, and then if need be out socially at networking events, or it's part and parcel of my job, but I also enjoy it as well.
So one last question.
Yeah.
What is the best advice that you've ever been given as a business person? Or something you've learnt along the way that's kind of been a game changer for you, that made you really think and maybe apply it to your day-to-day?
Oh, I don't know. You've called me there. Didn't prep me, did you?
No, I didn't. And it is a bit early.
Yeah. I don't know if there's ever been one bit of advice, really. What I have done is, over the years, I've watched and observed people do this role. I've watched the good stuff and I've seen the bad stuff. And I suppose what I've learned, it's not necessarily what someone has told me, what I've observed is that it's very, very important to get on with as many people as you possibly can. Obviously we're a private business, which means we've got competitors. But I try to think of our competitors as collaborators. We work closely with the private clinics here, the other private clinics. They work closely with us, with radiology. And then often, if we've not got a cardiologist, then we'll speak to one of the other clinics and vice versa. So we mix with them as much as I can as well, and socialise with them whenever time allows. And I think within the business development role, I think that's very, very important. Competition shouldn't be hostile at all. I don't believe in that whatsoever. Never talk badly about the competition. Only talk about your own business, about who you are, talk about what you can do positively. And I think that's, in the business development role, that's probably the advice, not necessarily that I was given, but it'd be advice that I would give.
Okay. Well, thanks. It's been a real insight to sit here with you and listen to your thoughts behind this amazing project. And as I said to David, I wish you guys all the best.
Thank you, Michelle.
And thank you for bringing this to Gib. I think it's for a lot of people, it's going to be, it is a huge game changer. So, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. Thanks for coming.